Today I'll be showing you guys how to chop up drum breaks in Ableton. You guys may be asking yourselves, what is a breakbeat? The term comes from old soul and funk tracks. Usually at some point towards the end of the song, there'd be a break where there's just drums. This would be done while the rest of the band was taking a break. And people started calling that breakbeat. It's been a big tool in hip-hop since its inception. Before we get started, I included a folder of drum breaks if you want to follow along with me. Alright, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to chop up a drum break today. I'll show you guys how to do it two ways. I'll show you how to do it with audio first, and then I'll show you how to do it with simpler afterwards. So we have just this audio track here. You want to make sure the starting point here is at the beginning of the first note. If you use the file I gave you, there may be a little bit of space here, but you can drag it forward by moving the little play button looking thing forward. You can also zoom in by moving your mouse over the waveform and dragging inward or upward to zoom out. Very handy. Wish more programs have this. Then next you're going to want to click warp. What we're doing right now is we're warping the audio. That way we can do whatever we want with it. We can move the BPM of it. We can alter it without the rhythm getting messed up. So you're going to want to warp it first. So click warp. And I purposely moved the BPM away from the actual BPM. That way you guys can figure out how to figure it out yourself inside of Ableton. So once we click warp, put your mouse over one of these little arrows here and move it backward until you either fit it into 2-bar space here. If you know it's a 2 or 4-bar loop, you're gonna want to either get it fit in the space here, or you're gonna want to line up the transients. For me here, you can see the snares are lining up on the 3 beat, and that's a great indicator to know we're on the right track. You don't really need to get it 100% perfect with breaks because you kind of want that raw drum groove. Maybe I might nudge this one over here a little bit. Okay, and then from there, we're going to zoom in. You can do the same thing at the top here. And then I'm going to split this part of the track by pressing Control E, which is split. You can also do it by right-clicking. Right-click, and then you go to split. And then you may listen to this, and you may notice, hey, that's kind of fast. That's too fast to even tell what's going on. I don't like it. Well, over here, there's a little section where you can divide it by 2 or multiply it by 2. We're going to want to divide it by 2. So we click that one, and it'll make the BPM that we're warping it at 93 instead of 46 or whatever it was. Now let's listen to it. We're going to loop that section by moving the loop markers. Nice, very raw drum groove. Okay, well let's try to make that more interesting. Now what we could do if we want to make this more interesting, we can zoom in here and we can start moving around the audio and duplicating things. So I thought it would be cool if we duplicate this kick in the beginning. So I'm gonna split it like I did before, and I'm gonna duplicate it by pressing Control D. Now let's listen to it. I actually don't like the way it uses that same crash sample in the beginning, so I'm gonna take a kick from later in the song. So I'm gonna delete that. And I'm going to find a kick later in the break, and I'm going to duplicate it over. There we go. There's one right there. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to duplicate it. Same thing as earlier. I'm going to split it. Then I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to drag it over there. And that'll duplicate it for us. Now let's listen to it. I don't like that little fill at the end. Like, it's cool, but you know, for a 2-bar loop, it's happening too often to loop that. So I'm gonna move that loop out here for now, and I'm just gonna, I'm doing the same thing as I was doing earlier. I just, you split it and you move things around. So I'm gonna split this section here, and I'm gonna copy it. So I got this little section here. Control, drag. Then let's listen to it. Well, it sounds good, but it's not quite right yet.